3 things you need to stop wearing after the age of 40. I'm Christy, and this is Christy's View, where I share fashion, travel, lifestyle, and all things pertaining to the life of a fabulous woman over 40. And today, we're going to be talking about 3 things you need to stop wearing after the age of 40. So I hope you got your tea, hope you got your coffee, because the conversation is going to be good. The first thing that you need to stop wearing after the age of 40 is the weight of other people's opinions. Boom, just like that. Like that in and of itself is a mic drop. You've probably seen the cute little memes. You've seen the quotes on Pinterest. You've seen, the quotes on different places. But let's really dig into and let's talk about what that means. The weight, wearing the weight of other people's opinions. So I'm just going to share my story. Growing up in a Nigerian household, for those of you who don't know, my parents are Nigerian, so I'm a first generation Nigerian American, and that was our life. We had no other choice but to live, breathe, eat, sleep by the opinions of others. Our parents, our family members, in school, in my church. That was what I was taught to do. You not only wore those opinions, but you embraced them. You took them on as your own. So it wasn't just, just listen and be respectful, but you were expected to take those opinions as if they were the gospel truth. And the weight of other people's opinions became a part of who I was. So everything I did was so that other people would be happy. Everything that I did was so that everyone in my environment, my parents, teachers, adults in my life at the time in my church, so that everyone was pleased with me. And of course, God, my life on a day-to-day basis was based on living for the approval and the opinions of others, what other people thought of me. That was how I valued myself. That was my self-worth was tied into that. So as I got older and I started to hear people talk about, losing the weight of other people's opinions, what does that mean? And most importantly, how do you do that? For me, that was counterintuitive to anything that I'd been raised to think. It was counterintuitive to how I'd been living my whole entire life. But let me tell you what changed and what shifted for me. Everything changed and shifted for me when I was diagnosed with stage 3 metastatic breast cancer and literally was fighting for my life during the pandemic, which was at the same time, and going through the chemo, surgeries, all the treatments, and having to go through them by myself. It forced me to go on a journey of really self-discovery and a renewing, if you will, a kind of a rebirth in terms of discovering who I was as a person, really. Not just a wife, not a mother, not a daughter, not a sister, not anything tied to all the labels and titles and hats that I wore, right? As women, we wear a lot of hats, wear a lot of things to a lot of people. But this really goes to the root of who am I to me? And how much power do the weight of other people's opinions have over my life and over the decisions I made and over, most importantly, over my self-worth? How was the weight of other people's opinions, how did it affect my self-worth? Now, if you're that type of person where, hey, other people's opinions don't affect your self-worth and it doesn't affect you at all, then hey, I say more power to you. I mean, I think that's great, wonderful, amazing. Hey, teach us. But for those of us who are like me, for those of you who are like me, and it took a journey to get to this point, It's a journey and it's a process. And it took going through something like that for me to really, really get it, for it to click. And then coupled with that, like I turned 50 last October. Man, it was like a light bulb came on. That was it. It was over. I was like, it was like something just clicked. Something turned on. A good friend of mine, Yasmin Robinson, said, she said, when you turn 50, it's like something just automatically shifts in your DNA. Something just kind of clicks in you where other people's opinions do not have that stronghold over your mind, your emotions, your life, and you're not wearing that weight, right? It's time out for that. It's 2024. We're letting go of these opinions. We're not wearing that anymore. You can wear whatever else you want to, but what we're not going to wear in this new stage of our lives, what we're not going to wear is the weight of other people's opinions. We're just not going to do it. We're just not going to be held captive by what other people think and feel about our actions and what we do. Trust me, take it from someone who was a chronic people pleaser. It was my life and it was killing me. I was drowning, literally dying, needing a life raft, needing a lifeboat, needing a life jacket to get out of this pool, this deep ocean that I found myself falling into. So take self-inventory about yourself. Think about your own life. Think about your experiences. Think about who you are now, and then think about who you want to be. What is it going to take for you to begin the process of shedding this weight of other people's opinions? And trust me, it's a process. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it happens overnight, because that is not true. It does not happen overnight, but as it's a process of learning and growth, and you begin to shed more layers, and I'm telling you, it's a beautiful experience. I've started the process, I'm going through the process, and I love it here. I'm just gonna tell you, I love it here. You're gonna like it here. You're going to like it here. The second thing that we need to stop wearing past the age of 40 is things that no longer serve us. Things that no longer serve who you are now, right? Think about what that means for you. And I'm going to explain what that meant for me. There were just certain things that I did that was just out of habit. Just certain things that I did that was just because I've always done it this way. I've always been this way, and that's just me. But it was draining me, and it was just holding me captive in my mind, in my world, because it was just giving people too much power in my life and in my mind. And I'll give you an example. And that was, for me, is very, very hard for me to say no to people without giving a very detailed explanation. Oh my gosh, I could never just say no, like because I can't, or I don't want to, or for whatever reason, but I felt I had to qualify my no with a very detailed explanation. I couldn't even say no in a text. That text would be followed by 2 to 3 paragraphs explaining why I couldn't do whatever it is I was asked to do, why I couldn't go wherever I was asked to go, why I couldn't perform whatever duty I was asked to perform, or whatever favor, whatever it was. Right? I couldn't just say no. My no had to be followed with a very detailed explanation, basically giving the qualifiers as to, why I was saying no, because I didn't want anybody to be mad at me. I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I have always been that person to do above and beyond for any and everybody. But I got to the point in my life, I got to the place in my life where that wasn't always reciprocated. It started not to feel good anymore. Listen to your intuition, trust your gut, and say no. Trust your gut, listen to your intuition. If you're a praying woman, pray about it and say no without explanation. And again, like I said about losing the weight of other people's opinions, it takes time. This is a process. Now, if you ask me how long this process takes, I can't answer that. It's different for everybody. But I know for me, I'm still evolving and growing. And every time I make a step in the right direction, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. So that's number two. Really, all three of these points can apply to any age, but I'm specifically talking to my queens and beautiful babes over the age of 40 because that's my age cohort. And I know where I'm striving to be at this point in my life. And I want to encourage women who are in the similar path, in the similar kind of vein of life as me. And the third one is the pressure to prove yourself. At this point, at this stage, have a career, the pressure to prove yourself to people, we got to stop wearing that and let that go. That's out. And for me, that was a hard one. And that is one that I'm still actively working on. As a full-time content creator, that's something that, due to the nature of this field and this industry, there's always that pressure to prove yourself, right? I started, kind of stressing out a little bit because I was like, oh, I have to prove myself. Oh, I have to prove that I am good. I have to prove no, absolutely not. No, I have worked hard to get to where I am. I rebuilt my account from scratch, from zero to where it is now. So there's no way in the world that I should sit here feeling this pressure that I have to prove myself to anyone. And the same goes for you. No, ma'am. Not at this day and age. Not at this stage of life. Not what we are. No. The only person you have to prove something to is yourself. If you have a goal, if you have something that you're setting out trying to do, and you just want to prove to yourself that you can do it, then hey, I think that's beautiful. That's admirable. Go for it, girl. You go, girl. But trying to prove something to somebody else? Nope. No. We need to let that go. We absolutely need to let that go. And all three of these, it applies the same way to fashion and the clothes that we wear and how we look. Remember, you have the power to choose how you show up in the world, right? People think clothes are just frivolous. They don't mean anything, but really clothes say a lot about you before you even open your mouth to speak. The way you present yourself in your clothes, the way you look in your clothes, the way you carry yourself, that is how you are showing up in the world. That is how you are occupying space. That is how you are presenting yourself to the world, and you alone have the power to control that. So you've got to let go of other people's opinions, the weight of other people's opinions. You've got to let go of things that no longer serve you, and you've got to let go of that pressure to prove yourself. My beautiful queens, this is your time. This is your time to go on this path of rediscovery and self-discovery for you in the path of being the woman that you want to be. That's where I am too. I'm not there yet, but I'm striving to get there. And I'm working every day, working on myself, trying to make sure that I will be a woman that my daughters will be proud of. I'm trying to be the woman for them that I needed when I was in my, teens and 20. My youngest daughter is 16, my oldest daughter is 23. I'm trying to be for them the woman that I needed at that age, right? And it's a path. It's a process. So I hope I've encouraged you. I hope I've inspired you. We're going to stop wearing these three things in 2024. So thank you again for being here with me. Thank you again for watching. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next time.